Hello and welcome back to our study of Peninei Halacha, the teachings of Eliezer Melamed Shalita. Yom Chamishi upon us, and we ask everyone to please continue davening for Chayalei Tzva Gan Yisrael for Shleim L'Chol Petzuei Yisrael and the safe return of our hostages. Each day we learn Le'ili Nishmas Seren Daniel Shemen Rav Dernon V'Shel Yishem Kum Damo. Let us continue in this important but short chapter on Hashkamas HaBoker, Hislabshus B'tznius. B'eish Adam Islabesh. Afilu Kashu Lavado B'Veiso, Reish Heneg B'tznius. When a person is getting dressed, even if you're alone in your house, one should do so in a modest fashion. V'al Yomar, Hineni B'chadrei Chadrom Miruani. Shouldn't say, well, look, I'm in my own room, nobody could see me. Kadosh Baruch Hu Malok Kol Aretz Kavoda, because Hashem, His presence fills the entire world. So therefore, someone who sleeps without clothing should be careful that when he wakes up, he shouldn't wake up without clothing and then get dressed. Maybe he should put on his article of clothing while he's still in bed, underneath the blanket, so that the place of the erva is covered even when he's getting dressed. Even when one is changing an undergarment, you should do so under a blanket or perhaps under a long shirt or something like that. Or in the washroom or in the bathroom. This is a place where this is common to be in this state. And this does not consider any sort of denigration of modesty. So a minig chasidus, a pious custom, is that anyone who has parts of his body that are normally covered when he's in his home or in front of his close friends, you should have those parts covered even when you're by yourself. Therefore, it's a minig chasidus that even when you're alone, that a person shouldn't perhaps be alone without an undershirt, should have some sort of undergarment on, and afilu kashiyir tulachlif gufia, it's pronounced gufia by the way, gufa has like body but it's related, so it's a garment that covers your body. Afilu kashiyir tulachlif gufia, kasher ein bekach koshi, mena chasidus shiasazos b'cheder achza. And even if a person wants to change one's undershirt, then if there is no difficulty, then one does so in the bathroom or in the changing room or in the washroom. If a person is in pain because it's very warm, it's very hot, so you could even remove an undershirt, but certainly one should not reveal the makom ha'erva. And Torah scholars are more strict in this. Even when it's hot, and it's find themselves alone in their room, they don't take off an undershirt. They certainly would not sit in a room in their house or with close friends or family without a shirt on. This is when, of course, there is no immediate need or practical need. However, obviously, if one has to bathe or one has a medical examination, then certainly one is allowed to be uncovered for those purposes. A very long note here as well, worth looking at, especially when it relates to Talmidei Chachamim. Kedei levaer ma'ates inyan hatznius yesh lahakdim, shemitchila k'she'adam harisha nivra hu haya tahar v'naki, berucho uv'gufo, v'lo hirgish tzorach levosh begadim. So in order to explain this notion of modesty, so we have to preface this, the fact that Adam Harishon, when he was created, he was pure, he was clean in spirit and in body, and he had no need to wear clothing. However, after the sin, as we all know, he was embarrassed by his nakedness, and therefore now we all have to cover our bodies with clothing, particularly when it comes to places of our body that are connected to desire or where we have to expel things from our body. Haguf, hachashuv, madgish b'tzuras kitzonis es hatzad hachumrani v'habehemi sheba adam. The body represents, and the outer body represents the sort of the formal, physical, animal part of a human. However, in the limbs of the body, if you look in particulars, there are hints, there are keys, wondrous keys that lead to the neshama. The wise people of Kabbalah, they dealt extensively with this. And the purpose of the body was to bring out all of these secrets, etc. However, after and because of sin, our outlook is perhaps much more chitzoni. It's all about the outer appearance. When you look at a body, we don't see the spiritual aspect, we see only the physical aspect. That it perhaps causes us to forget the inner sanctity and the spiritual nature of what is contained therein. Therefore, places of the body that should be covered, we do so modestly, so that we can emphasize and perhaps bring attention to the inner sanctified parts of what the body is, which is the essence of beauty of a human being. And perhaps through this, then this beauty, this spiritual beauty, will radiate to the rest of the body. Because Chazal tell us that what's the most beautiful thing, what safeguards beauty, is tznius, is modesty. Because this really gets to the shorish, it gets to the root of our everlasting quality and our real beauty. This is based on Zohar and other places, but certainly something to take note of, because we don't look at a body just as physical beauty, but we have to look at the spiritual beauty that is contained therein as well, and hence the principle of tznius. So thank you so much for listening today. Please continue davening for Chali Yitzvah and Israel, for Shalom L'chol B'tzua Yisrael, and safe return of our hostages. Wishing everybody a great day. We'll see you here next time.